is presented by Miller Lite. Prime time is Miller time.
Welcome to NFL Primetime Championship Sunday. I'm Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson, and we had similar plots going into this one. Teams trying to win 3 in a row on the road. Almost impossible to get to the Super Bowl against teams that were undefeated at home. 9-0 Seattle, 9-0 Denver. Those road teams, Pittsburgh and Carolina. Tall task, but they've been undone. Kind of identical plots.
You know, we said a couple of weeks ago that we thought history of some sort was going to be made depending on who was going to go to the Super Bowl. We were not wrong about that. History was made today. Both championship games.
Right, and the 6th seed had never been to even a championship game, let alone a Super Bowl. That was the Pittsburgh Steelers' task, to represent all the downtrodden 6 seeds through history, trying to go into the mile-high city, Edwin in Denver, where the Steelers, then just another week, they've really been kind of playing playoff games since late in the season. Once upon a time, they were 7-5, and they won 6 in a row. Mike Shanahan, though, he holds the key to these championship games, and the key was held right here. Who knows what would have happened if Champ Bailey had held on instead of Hines Ward? He changed last week's game.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Hines Ward makes a great play on the football, takes that lick from John Lynch, still holds on. Drive continues for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A theme, if you will.
All right, there's Al Wilson forces a fumble by Willie Parker, which the Broncos think they recover. I love Bill Cowher here, like the beanbag toss at the fair, right? Guys, the arm, and then they look at it again.
Well, ground can't cause a fumble, and that's exactly what happens here. You can see the forearm is down. As the forearm hits, the ball pops out. They review it. Call on overturn. Steelers continue with the football.
And they get a field goal, 3-0. Jake Plummer sacked. A backside blitz by Joey Porter, and it's a fumble. Pittsburgh recovers. Porter fight. There he is. Joey Porter. They bring the Dick LeBeau's defense, Tom, with the pressure. Then Ben Roethlisberger throwing a lot on first and a lot on second down to Heath Miller and a lot to his various receivers. They got much better skill players than people know. Later in the drive, it's the second quarter. It's the 3rd and 9, Tommy. Roethlisberger to Cedrick Wilson, the, quote, third wideout, and it's 10-0 Pittsburgh. Now with the score 10-3. Cedrick Wilson, again, the one-time 49er, hits 18 yards. And again, 3rd and 10. Was the Denver defense laying off too much?
Well, I thought the timing of the Pittsburgh offense was actually on. You saw in that last play, John Lynch coming, but the ball is out before Lynch can ever get the hit on Big Ben.
There's 21 yards to Hines Ward. This a nice swing on 3rd and 9 to Randall L. with Faneca in front. Then Veron Haynes, 9 yards. That's 3rd and 9.
Yes.
This isn't 3rd and 2. These are 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And then Jerome Bettis, no fumble here. 17-3 Steelers. So, after the 2-minute warning, first play, Jake Plummer could not afford this. Ike Taylor read him all the way, and he didn't get all the mustard on the ball either.
Threw it off his back foot.
And now, Willie Parker pens a 14-yard carry, and Pittsburgh in business looking for the jugular. Down to the 12 with 12 seconds to go. Look at where Bettis is lined up inside. An inside trap, maybe? Yes, it is. And it's a touchdown. Brilliantly called play by Whizzin' Hunt and company. But Hines Ward, illegal formation, and Cowher says, all right, let's try it again. So, you're going to back us up, son? So what? Roethlisberger playing brilliantly again. 17 yards to Hines Ward. Steelers lead it 24-3.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll see a better throw. That's Nick Ferguson at the back of the end zone, but the way that Big Ben squared the shoulders and threw the ball over the top, as good a throw as you'll see in the red zone.
So they're stunned in Denver. 3rd quarter, Jake Plummer now really trying to reach into his bag of tricks. You might as well go to Rod Smith. You had a great talk with him on this morning's show, Tom. 32 yards, and then Ashley Lee. And maybe, just maybe, Denver coming back. 24-10. Remember, they're 9-0 at home all year. Early 4th and 27-10 after a Reed field goal. But Plummer now has to gamble, and it's Larry Foote that is right there. Those Steeler linebackers have been so giant all year. To the chagrin of Mike Shanahan, they do hold. They get a punt. Here comes Plummer again. 38 yards to Lee, who makes a fine catch to the 31. Now, Here comes Dick LeBeau's defense. Porter again, 55. Plummer, this is what he can do. He can audibilize while the play's going on, if you will. Incomplete, but pass interference called. Maybe, just maybe. Plus a thrown helmet of sportsmanlike conduct tacked on Mike Anderson. Gives a mile-high salute because Denver's to within 10, 27-17. Jake, even though he's used to the altitude, getting the oxygen, but he wasn't used to this. Brad Kiesel had 2 sacks. Here it is here, and on 4th and 10, 5 minutes to go, Kiesel comes in, hits a strip. Steelers recover, was 4th down anyway. Now Pittsburgh in business. And after seeing last week almost a fumble, changing things, not this time. Here's the mobility of Ben Roethlisberger to seal the deal, Tom.
Yeah, and what a great call. You know, you run the ball, you think you're going to run the ball again, you get the bootleg outside. Ben Roethlisberger, once he turned that corner, he's gone.
Well, the shower was early for Bill Cowher, who had heard all, yeah, we're going home, says the bus. And that's a wonderful shot. Dan Rooney, a gentleman, and that's a wonderful shot. 2 gentlemen who appreciate what the other has done.
Absolutely.
Bill Cowher in '97 was beaten by Mike Shanahan in the championship game in Pittsburgh. So 8 years later, the Steelers come into Denver and beat Mike Shanahan for the right to go to the AFC Championship Game. 10 years between Super Bowl visits for Bill Cowher and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They relish this one because, you can't win. Guess what? You can win, and they're all smiles afterwards.
It was 2 things I told him. I told him that, 110%. I asked him to give me 110% if they could do that. Hey, that's all I could ever ask for. And the second one, I asked him to get me home, get me back to Detroit.
We got a resilient group. We had a young quarterback who didn't play young today, and I can't say enough about this football team. You know, we've kind of traveled a hard road, but I think in the course of it, we probably grew as a football team and grew individually. And, now we have an opportunity, and hopefully we can finish this season off, with 1 more win.
Everyone expected us to lose the first game. Everyone expected us to lose the second game. Everyone expected us to lose this game. And, no one believed in us but us. We had each other's back the whole way. And, that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all we want is each other's backs.
There's only one team that's happy at the end of the season. That's the Super Bowl champs. And so, you feel horrible about that missed opportunity. You work for that prize, that trophy. Pittsburgh deserved to win today. They played better than we did, and to do what they've done against 3 excellent football teams and playing the way they did is really an accomplishment.
As a quarterback, I got to lead this team to a win, and I didn't get that job done. Fought hard all year and all through this game, but had some couple poor decisions, and in a game like this, you can't do that.
Look, Ben ran that. Jake Plummer put it on his shoulders. Look, you can't just point fingers at him. That's for sure. Ben Roethlisberger last year. Did he hit the wall? Did he hit the Patriots? Whatever it is in the playoffs, it was the first time around. This is his 2nd season. He won 3 road games at Cincy, at the team with the best record in the regular season at the Colts, at the team that hadn't lost it all at home, the Denver Broncos. By the way, Ben Roethlisberger, 26-4, in 2 years as a starting quarterback. So, look, we can go all over the map, Tom, with the game plan thought out of Bill Cowher and said LeBeau, Winston Hunt, the way they executed it, and, of course, the great story of the bus. They knew Denver was dangerous in the first half, and they said, take this.
Well, monumental task to overcome. Going to Denver. Denver had never lost a championship game at home. I think you begin with Ben Roethlisberger and his ability to throw the football. And think about Bill Cowher's history. We're a run-first football team, but now he has complete faith in his quarterback, so he has great balance with this football team. And that added dimension that Ben has of being able to move and having those mirrors on his back so he knows where that rush is coming from and knowing where the exit doors are. That's something that's instinctive, and you cannot teach it. And then defensively, boy, do they swarm. And I thought they took the Broncos, just like the Colts. They took them out of the game within a quarter and a half of football. You were back on your heels. The fans are sitting on their hands, and it is done. And you're just fighting to survive, and you're the home team. So this is a special football team, and they are going to be hard to beat in the Super Bowl in Detroit.
86 points in 3 games on the road. In the playoffs. And so for the first time ever, the 6th seed the Pittsburgh Steelers is heading to the Super Bowl, and a congratulations to the Denver Broncos, who had a wonderful
season. Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
You heard Mike Shanahan say it, on this day, there's no question.
They were the better team.
Pittsburgh was a better team, and they're headed to the Super Bowl with all those terrible towels. Not a long drive to Detroit from Pittsburgh either. When we return, the NFC Championship game. Could Carolina win again on the road, or would Seattle show why they were undefeated at home, and would the MVP be that?
Miller. There's good enough, and there's better than it has to be. Miller. Good call. And in part by McDonald's.
So, Pittsburgh did it on the road. Could Carolina do it on the road? Impressive playoff wins at the Giants and at Chicago. And now they found themselves at Seattle. 9-0 at home with the MVP in the league, albeit coming off a concussion, Sean Alexander. Could they make it 10-0 in the Great Pacific Northwest? And you know what? They knew it was special because it didn't really rain today, Tom. I mean, it didn't rain the day after they won that playoff game last week for the first time since 1984. The first one, Steve Smith. Has he been great? Sean Alexander, what would he be like? You saw him for a moment. Well, Mike Holmgren is a pretty darn imaginative play caller. This is the backup quarterback, Seneca Wallace. Lines up wide, but you're not going to throw. Oh, yes, you are. Matt Hasselbeck. And Wallace makes an outstanding catch. 28 yards here in the first quarter with about 6 minutes to go. Jeremy Stevens is 6'7", a big target that Hasselbeck finds for a touchdown, 17 yards. And both quarterbacks, one who turned receiver and the tight end, Hasselbeck, Wallace, they're all excited. 7-0 Seattle. Jake Daylight come and, he didn't want to Delone that one. It's Lofa Tatupu, the rookie linebacker that calls the signals for the Seahawks.
You know, the thing I like about Lofa Tatupu is he gets outstanding depth. You can't see him coming in from the left side of the screen here, but he gets great depth, has a nice set of hands, instinctive ball player who obviously has picked up the game as a rookie.
Bang! And there's Tatupu, who got wrong, but he ended up knocking Nick Goings out, who was the starting running back. You see Stephen Davis, Deshaun Foster already here. Look at it again, like, wow. Now, Tatupu continued. Goings would have to leave. And so now Carolina down to number 4 running back, Robertson. Meanwhile, Delhomme, now he knows he's got to make it happen. Just did not get anything on that ball, and Marquand Manuel picks it off, and he's down to the 20-yard line. The Seahawks already up 10-0 in big-time business. Sean Alexander, was the line opening some big holes for him, Tom, or what?
Yeah,
and then this is vintage Sean.
Yeah, look at Sean Alexander. He sees the corner, he gets it, and you think he's going out of bounds, and he gets right up the field, turns north-south, takes the ball down to the 15-yard gain.
28 regular season touchdowns from the one. He always gets in. Say, well, it's a one. No, but he always gets in, doesn't he?
Run the ball into the end zone.
17-0 Seahawks. Now the Panthers desperate. How do they get this deal? Well, there's boink off the head of D.D. Lewis, but then they had linebacker. How about the plan that they had, Tom?
Yeah, and you can see how frustrating it was for Steve Smith on the line, on the sideline talking to one of the coaches.
Well, John Fox, the head coach, had to try and settle him down, but let's send him out for a punt. Maybe this will happen. He could go all the way. Can't get in the ball except off the foot of the punter. 59 yards, but wait a minute, flag. What do you mean a flag? John Fox says. No, it's a touchdown, referee, and Hockley says, come on, says Mike Holmgren, you threw a flag. No one. What the heck's going on out there? It's a touchdown, and it's now a 17-7 game. Now it's 20-7 third quarter. Darrell Jackson, with the spin at the 2. Hasselbeck, pump fake, was just on his game again, Tom. 27-7 Seahawks. Now in the fourth quarter, at the 1 again, guess what's going to happen? John Alexander, that's up the middle. Robbie Tobeck, the center, doesn't quite get the pub that Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson, the Pro Bowl left side of the line, get, but he's in there. And now, this sums up the whole day. They finally get the ball to Steve Smith. It's a fumble. The Seahawks recover. And Mike Holmgren knows that up 34-14 as the seconds tick down. An outstanding coach is going to the Super Bowl with his team, and Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith hug. Sean Alexander, the MVP, running the trophy around. the NFC Championship trophy, and the Seahawks go to their first Super Bowl ever. They beat the Carolina Panthers 34-14, holding the ball for 42 minutes. Alexander, 132 yards rushing. Hasselbeck, an outstanding game again in the postseason. And by the way, Mike Holmgren didn't forget how to coach.
Any little doubts kind of creep in as you go along in this business, you know, which can happen. This kind of makes me think for sure that I can coach a little bit, and I feel so good for the organization.
Everything that that team did today was superb, and they outplayed us, out-hustled us. They overall just flat out beat us.
They're second in the league in offense, arguably maybe the best offense in the league offensively, and you can't leave them out there that long. So it was a tough day.
And I'm just proud of these guys and this team and this organization. It's been a long time coming, and we persevered all season, and these guys earned it, man, and we deserve it.
Just never got it going. Just one of those days. It's frustrating when it happens in a championship game, but that's part of football.
Every week, somebody goes down, somebody else steps up, and you count on each other, but at the same time, you're willing to pick up your fallen brother.
Well, they had to win 4 in a row on the road. They had to win the last game at Atlanta to Carolina to get in the playoffs. I thought the deck was stacked against Carolina. I think I said that this morning. But look, the deck was stacked because Seattle, you heard what John Fox and Delhomme said. They're the #1 seed in the NFC for a reason, Tom, and they look like it.
Well, I think when you see the kind of balance that they have with Matt Hasselbeck throwing the football, with the MVP of the league, Sean Alexander, running the football, when all the parts are clicking, when the receivers, Daryl Jackson, are catching the football, when you see their tight ends at work, offensively, they are a juggernaut. They have the potential to score on anybody. And defensively, they swarm and they play high-energy football. And even that last catch that you saw, Steve Smith makes the catch, surrounded by 3 guys. They make the hit from behind. Good pursuit from the line of scrimmage. They have a lot of things in place. #1 seed in the NFC is going to go to the Super Bowl, but you're going to be the underdog to the #6. It's going to be dripping with irony. This is great stuff.
Right, and the Seahawks with no history in the Super Bowl, of course, and in that city, it's going to be pretty decent in Seattle. It's a great city, and I congratulate all the folks there. Behave yourself tonight. I know that's going to be difficult against Pittsburgh, with dripping with history. But the Seattle Seahawks, I think a defense has grown before your eyes. And by the way, I should just say this, in my opinion, 4 playoff games played by Matt Hasselbeck. He's played 4 strong ones, even the 2 losses in previous years. So now here it is, Tom. Seattle and Pittsburgh in Super Bowl XL, which would be Super Bowl 40 in Detroit. And so Pittsburgh finally plays a non-road game.
I wonder who the road team is.
Well, I don't know. Seattle plays finally a non-home game.
That's right.
And congratulations to 2 of the best coaches who, oddly enough, each became head coaches for the first time in 1992. They're going to the Super Bowl together. Coach Cowher, Coach Holmgren. We'll be back. And when we come back, we'll listen to Jerome Bettis, who's going to his hometown. He visits with Jaws. Plenty more to talk, and Game Balls too.
Inside the Night, presented by Miller Lite.
The bus has punched his ticket home. Jerome Bettis, blasting to Detroit. He's with Jaws.
Thank you very much, Jerome. You're going home for the Super Bowl. How good does that feel?
It's an amazing feeling. I tell you what, it's a dream come true in the sense, at the beginning of the season, the thought was, we can possibly get here, and I made a decision to come back because, I knew we had a good football team, and also the Super Bowl was in my backyard. So I'm just glad everything worked out.
Your quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, a year ago in the championship game, struggled through 3 picks. This afternoon, he was fantastic. What was the difference?
Well, I think just him understanding what he has to do. I think he learned a lot from that game, and he put it in his back pocket and said it wouldn't happen again. And he came out and executed a perfect game plan, and he led us down the football field just about every time we had the football and just did a great job for us.
Most people said you couldn't go on the road and win 3 games. Well, how good does it feel to have proven those doubting Thomases wrong?
It feels good. We're #6 seed. Everybody said it's never been done. We rewrite the record books and show that, hey, even though you're underdog, you can still get it done.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck in Super Bowl 40. back to the studio.
Jaws, and hey, that smile will light up the whole city of Detroit. I mean, after last week of the Immaculate Redemption and with the Bettis fumble and the Roethlisberger tackle, hey, he's been a great. They love him in Pittsburgh.
They're going to love him in Detroit too.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will.
But it's a fairy tale, and you know, for his family as well, for the Bettis family, the whole Bettis family.
He's represented pro football beautifully. He's represented Pittsburgh beautifully, and now the Steelers represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Tom, which leads you to your game?
My game ball, and my game ball my game ball goes to Big Ben, 21 of 29, but he has really been everything you want in a quarterback. Led this team to victory, and boy, second year, who would have believed Big Ben would be here?
My game ball goes to welcome Matt. Matt Hasselbeck, another strong postseason game. Total command, 20 of 28, clicking early, put the Seahawks out to a big lead. We'll talk the Super Bowl in a moment when we return on Prime Time.
Presented by Miller. There's good enough, and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And in part by Nike and the new Air Max 360.
Ben steps in. The play action fake. Ben bootlegs. Ben's in for the touchdown. And there's the coup de grace. Pittsburgh comes to Denver, puts the Broncos away, and it's on to Detroit for Super Bowl 40.
Matthew play fake. Looks down the middle of the field. Touchdown Seahawks! Jeremy Stevens with the catch. I've wanted to say it for weeks. How about them apples, baby?
Easy to say it after they both win big, Tom, but both Pittsburgh and Seattle carried themselves on the field and during the week like they expected these wins to happen. And you saw the result.
Well, very confident football teams, outstanding quarterbacks, outstanding running games, solid defense, high energy, great coaches. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to be in Detroit. We're going to have some fun.
Well, there's quarterbacks playing great. Defense. It's going to be an outstanding Super Bowl 40. Congrats to the Seahawks and the Steelers. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. ABC Super Bowl coverage begins 2:30 Super Bowl Sunday.